Right. From the other side of the microphone, welcome to the presentation. The how and why of creating amazing presentations by yours truly. So we begin. So we've got the introduction, simple stuff. Creating outstanding presentation requires three main ingredients: context, design, and data management. Context involves knowing your audience and where your information comes from and what message you want to portray. So, basically just explaining those three main ingredients. We can move on. So, on the first page, we speak about fonts. Basically, fonts are very much overlooked in design, and people will focus a lot more on the colors and the graphics, whereas it's very important to make sure that you choose the right combination of fonts or typefaces. So the diagram itself shows formal to informal with regards to serif fonts, sans serif fonts, and script fonts. So the most formal fonts would be your serif fonts. These are fonts that have that little serif at the end. It's that little tick. That is your most formal type fonts. You'll get those in your books, and yeah, anything else that's really just trying to be the formal version of itself. Less formal but widely used, even used by me, are sans serif, meaning there's no serif. There's no little flick on the letter's edge, and therefore in French, sans means no, or sans means no, and serif means serif. So sans serif, no serif. Script fonts, as it states, it's script. Some fonts in the script fonts family are even called script MT. And you've got Anthony Hunter, Vivaldi. These are great fonts, but they're not that formal. But with a great design idea, something like a wedding could work. But for the sake of school presentations, annual reports, all of the sort, you would not be wanting to use any font from this family over here. You'd want to use either your sans serif, or if it's very formal, you'd want to use your serif. Let's move on. So within text design, we need to look at layout, how your text is placed within your page. So you can either adjust it to the left or align it to the left. You can align it to the center, or you can right align it. So I've got an example of some center aligned text here showing that these blocks represent specific parts of your text. As you can see already, this becomes some form of visual language. You know that that is important. That is the secondary information. That's also a little bit important, but not as important as that over there. But it's definitely more important than the paragraph text down here. Okay. And we have it in landscape layout, but still following the same principles of having your headings or most important element or information at the top, followed by the secondary heading, followed by the tertiary and paragraph type headings. Then we'll move on to space design. So, space design is, for me, I don't think it's really a term, but what I define it as is understanding the white space around your design. That white space brings focus to your content. So if your content is too on the edge or it's too close together, you lose the hierarchy of everything. So if everything is close together, you don't really get to see that that's the heading and that's the subheading, and then this is the information, So it becomes a bit too clustered. Loosening up your spacing, putting a little bit of space in between items shows that this works together, this works together, and that works together. That at the top is more important, and it's just more accentuated with the white space within the borders. Sometimes you get designs where people will bring elements close to the edge of either your left edge or your top edge, or bring them too close together as the content. That is a no-no. Visually, that just does not work. It's not appealing. As you can see here, I've got space in between my main heading and my text. I've got space in between the actual image that is here and its title or label. I've got some space in between the actual white space label itself to obviously, in a poetic manner, signify space. Proximity, I've got space in between the actual lines that are going towards the content itself. And I've created a bit of space in between the actual wording of proximity, for example, to show that when something is separated, it sometimes doesn't really make sense. So even, your word or your letter spacing, if it doesn't work, or if it doesn't convey a formal language, it just confuses your reader, or it just detracts away from your actual message or your information. So, the more you follow design conventions, the more your message can just be clear, and people won't be worried about how bad the design is or how boring it is, or they'll be distracted by their phones. That's basically, one of the best reasons to design something properly, is that it can convey your message better. Then we'll move on to shape design. So here I just introduce a brief look at the meaning of shapes themselves. This is symbolic, and it does have its meaning. It's not heavily important, but it's good to have in mind if you are just thinking about what shape to use for a specific meaning. Not everybody obviously subscribes to the idea of shapes having meaning, but some things are subconscious. Whether we like it or not, the eye sees something and something registers in the brain, and it conveys some form of feeling. So that feeling can either be positive towards your content, or it could be detractive, could be negative. So if you're using some triangles within your imagery, that could vote well for somebody who's watching your presentation, and there are people that like the idea of power, they like the idea of structure, law, and all of that. So think about that. We'll move on to color design. So the color choices you make also have their own meaning. This goes without saying if you are a designer, but in general, once again, not everybody understands in the meaning of colors themselves and how to combine colors. So here we have a couple of color combinations. We have complementary colors. This is the main presentation here. We have some gradient colors moving from one sort of tone of a color to a different tone. That also works in design, and also just working with a color family of sorts, simply using warm colors. One could also use cool colors in the set. Um, Obviously, here I've got my warm colors. This is my referencing, and what else? So, obviously, a color wheel is a good metric to use in terms of choosing your colors, as a color wheel will just basically summarize everything about color. It will summarize your color families. So, you have your warm colors over this side, they all group together. It will familiarize you with your cool colors, as shown here below and over here. So, a color wheel always generally looks like this, and also it will show you your complementary colors, which you can choose, and then you can sort of implement them into your design. So this helps a little bit with that element over there. Very important. It's good to play around with it, see what works with you, see what you like. Sometimes it's company colors that are being used. Sometimes you can simply just use a combination of company colors, and it just works well within these rules. Here's a little bit more within the meaning of color. Badly copied image from the internet, but it does the job. So let's do it. So still continuing with the color wheel. We've got our warm colors over to the right, cool colors over to the left. But here we've got a couple of meaning titles inside them. You got your purple, which speaks on royalty, creativity, and spirituality. We have over here, it speaks on wisdom, experience, virtue. So, it really is up to the person, designing. Do you want to go really that deep in terms of your color choices? But if you do, go for it. So I chose blues. Let's see what it means. It's intelligence, authority, honesty. So that really works for anything that's corporate, anything maybe educational, school and whatnot. Trust is the large word over there in that word mosaic. Then we move on to design aids. Yes, it's exactly what it sounds like. So design aids are basically softwares that will assist you in design. So everything that you have learned up until now, you can simply just get it created for you very quickly. You can have this done within PowerPoint. So within Microsoft PowerPoint, for example, if you go out of it, and sometimes it doesn't work in a page that has a lot of elements, but go home within your Microsoft PowerPoint. You can click out of anywhere or just click on the white space so that it doesn't select anything and try and generate some design ideas. So it says there's no design ideas for this slide. Let's go into another slide that has a little bit less on it. Let's move this up a bit. Okay, let's try again. How? Okay, so color design, giving us some ideas here to throw around. So what it's doing is it's taking a shape, trying to put it into as many places as possible, which isn't really working. But if you click on it, it'll change it to that. If you click on that, it'll change it to this. Just quick ways, and you can always refresh the ideas, and it'll give you new ones. But that's just not nice. Okay. So maybe let me delete this. Just leave that as that. The text, no image. Then it comes up with a couple more, and it comes with a little bit of an animation. Give me that. So it's looking at it obviously as a title because that's where I copied it from. So it's giving me like title animations or title intros. Then from here, if I say new slide, okay, then it'll still give me more design ideas based on that slide template over there. And I can simply choose it and I can type my title, which obviously is not going to be the same as what I have over there. But I can take this, copy it, Control C, or go here and press copy and paste. Paste it here, the center align it, maybe delete this. Maybe I want to put it over there. Use destination theme. Align it back to the left. So now I've got a secondary page. that's following the design elements from there. And I can always go back in, choose other design elements, go new slide, and it should give me more design styles based on that previous slide over there. So I generally don't use this. I mean, I look at it sometimes. Maybe there might be something good for a specific slide, but I like to have a little bit of control in terms of the design. So I'm just going to undo all of that. I think this is fine. We'll leave that there. So PowerPoint is always giving ideas, and it always has, and it probably always will. So within a theme that you have, you can literally click on design and just simply scroll through a couple of options. This will change your font, and it will, yes, it will go onto all of your slides. If that's my understanding. No, but it doesn't. Okay, let's change it to that. So these first two will always have a white background, and it will simply change the color theme of it. So if I've chosen this theme over here, and then I'm looking at my colors for anything, those colors in a sense should be popping up over here. But also, it's not the best design element. It really doesn't give you a lot of control. It's not modern, and it doesn't have any form of context, which is one of the things that I said was important in design. Like, unless I am creating a presentation for a bamboo company or something, this really has no meaning. And here also, it's not amazing. This I've seen this used before. Don't like it much. It's okay. It's a great use of complementary colors. Here we've got a great use of sort of adjacent colors, your purple and pink. But at the same time, it's just not. And you've got a lot. You really do, and you've got a lot of styles, so you can really play around with PowerPoint. You do not have to go too far, right? So let's get back to the design aids. So we've gone through PowerPoint, and now we speak on Canva. Canva is a source on the internet that basically allows you to download presentations, edit them, and present them on there. So let's click on canva.com. It's asking me for email. Anyways, so let's choose data chart. Just enter. So it'll show you all types of data charts, graphics, everything. But all we want is presentations, and we want free ones. And you can also choose a color scheme if you want. If you only want ones that are green, something will pop up for you. Some blues, and you've got that. So unclick that and say we want to use this presentation over here. help to click. So you can go in, double click, edit text, right? Change the color, anything really. So you've got your icons here. You can choose different icons, and it'll change up the icons. It's got your color settings here, so you can change that second color to anything else. So obviously here, what they've done is they've went with the theme of an airport, and it's a sales report. It's something that's a very formal document, but they've created a little bit of design style to it. You can still change these icons. So Canva is very easy for you to change anything on it, really. So you can also see right now with Canva, it's only editing this first slide. I want to use all the designs, yeah. And I would suggest that you do, because you're obviously going to be creating more than one page within your presentation. So apply all 12 pages. Let it work for a minute. Or did I click it? Yes, I did. Don't show again. Replace all pages. Now we're inside. So now we've got more pages here. Literally, I can upload an image. Let's say I'm going to upload keyboard image, and I want to replace the images here while maintaining this design. Now, honestly, Canva is great, but just based on your internet speed. So for the sake of speed, I'll just simply use the image that is here already. So if you click on the image, it'll appear inside your Canva window, and you drag it, and wherever your mouse lands, then the image will simply be dropped inside that space and inside that frame. Amazing. And you can do this with the background, and it really has the settings with terms of the color, tone, and all of that. So Canva, very great. You can change your fonts. Let's go open source. Just checking if it changes everything. You may need to play around a little bit. Text. Okay, that's to add the text. So there isn't really a way to change all the text everywhere at a page, but I'm sure there is. Um, but until one does find the way to change the text for every single page all at once, you'd have to manually go into every single page and change your font to what you want. Oh, yeah, there it is. Change all. It's perfect. So now all of my fonts are open source. Open source, open source. Okay. And obviously, if I want to edit anything in a graph, I can simply change the values. That goes up and changes other things. Whichever way you really want to work, you can do whatever you want. So from the images, the background, the text, the graphs, charts, you can change it. And you can present from right inside Canva. Click on present. present with watermarks, it's fine. It's not like it's a watermark that is directly on your work. It's down here in the corner, and no one is really worried about it. So let's go to the first page. Start presenting here. Hello, folks. How are you guys doing? Please welcome the first guest speaker to our International Airport Sales GM. Today is the 27th of October 2021. And you move on, and you move on, and your graphs will animate. You can also add other animation elements, but I generally would just leave the theme as it is and just change the values and just let it work with what has been said, because obviously someone has worked hard to create this presentation for it to work the way it does. So it's good to stick to what you have as close as possible with regards to any other added features like animations, but obviously you want to customize the colors and the content. That animates, yeah, that animates. So that is Canva. I would rate Canva as one of the best. And then you might want to save it. Either you can simply send a view only link. Someone can view the presentation and they won't be able to edit it, which is great. You can use that view only link also for yourself if you simply want to present. Well, let's go to it. Let's check it out. So as you can see, here's a presentation mode. So it's still on the internet. Someone has the link, they can simply view. It'll allow them to basically go to canva.com if they want to create their own presentation. They can give it a thumbs up, they can heart it, they can laugh, they can react. It states that it's got 12 pages. You can see all of them within a grid if you want. Close that grid. Okay, and if you want to present in this mode, and obviously you want to hide that address bar for the browser, simply press F11 on your computer, and you can either click and it will go to the next slide, or you can press your arrow keys and it will still have these beautiful animations. Okay. Perfect. To get out of full screen mode, generally you press F11. So I was trying to press escape because I am, I don't know, I am lost. Okay, back to the slide. So we've gone through Canva. Just wanted the design aids. And slides go very similar to Canva. And say, for example, you're looking for graphics that look like this, go into Slides Go. Here you can easily download the presentation itself and you can edit it on PowerPoint on your computer or simply edit it online on Google Slides. So Slides Go, it's great because it's a portal that allows you to get the content that you need and to edit it wherever you want to edit it. Say you want to edit it on Google Slides. download it, and it will be saved within your Google Drive. Or if you want to, so 10 templates a month is what you get. And I've reached the download limit. I don't know how. I know I did not download 10 templates, but anyways. So, or maybe I downloaded the same template too many times for the presentation. So here, this is just a cover. There's no data sheet that is attached to this, so you can sort of edit this as a normal image. Because the best way to edit is to make sure that you have that cross, and then it can move things. Now, if it's not the cross, it's going to try and resize it. Whereas I want to move it like this. So I would say, for the sake of graphs and charts, the best way to go would be Canva, because those are actual charts as opposed to the graphic elements that we are working with now. But it is really up to the person. It's up to you what you feel is best and what works for you. So yeah, with elements like this, the yellow parts are where you can do some edits on it. Obviously, within text, you can change that, really bring it down to like a 45%. Whatever you want to do. You can change your icons. Okay, so there's no way where you can just right click and change the icon. Whereas within PowerPoint, so if I were to download this so I can open on PowerPoint, okay, cool. Let's just download it here for PowerPoint. Let's open it up in Microsoft PowerPoint. Enable editing, and way easier to play around with. So in PowerPoint, you can right click, tune edit points, click on that point and bring that point down. They're all graphics in a sense, so you literally are just editing and resizing graphics. If you play with the yellow point, that plays with the roundness of the bar for that bar chart. And so, this could just be for something that's really simple that you're trying to convey within graphics, within infographics. And if we present it, doesn't really have an animation. Not even doesn't have an animation at all. So if I were to vote on the best um, design aid, I would go for Canva, because from Canva you can do everything. You can present, and the templates already have animations, and when you're editing your graphs, you are actually editing the content of the graph, and it's animated. I don't know if I can say animated any more times, but you know, it's great to just have those elements come in within your presentation just to give it that cherry on top. I hope this presentation works well for you. My name is Milikai Nokamza,